Hey everybody, it is Tyler again with Gaia Gaming with another gameplay video from my locals. So this is a top 4 match from the top 4 cut. It is going to be Antibody, the same player as the last video, versus Blue Hybrid. So the Antibody player opens up into a Dark Tyranitar back, passing the 1. The Blue Hybrid player opens with Siakumon. With his 1 memory, he goes into the Boko, grabbing from the top 5 his only hit, which is the Korikaku. At 2, the Antibody player just goes into the level 5, just setting up his stack. It's pretty strong, and the blue player gets some chip damage, but he does hit the Zort defeat, followed by the tie-in mat. That's some pretty insane security on the Antibody player's side. Blue player passes with Josora and puts him at 3. It's gonna get him the 2 memory pretty much every turn because Antibody, I keep calling it Antibody. The Zort defeat is now on board, and there's no way to evolve over it. So unless it dies somehow to security, hitting like a Susanoo or Zulong, it's gonna just hang out there. The Dorogromon swings over the Boko just to stop that, and then I keep doing it. Zort defeat swings for 2 checks. He drops the Mechanori. Pretty strong play. Puts him to 3. It is 3 security apiece. So the game is a lot closer than the board state would make you think. Drops that Tommy, going to 0. Completely stripping the Antibody stack sources. Falls into the Korikaku, freezing the Zort defeat. So right now he only has 1 attacker for this swing back, and it is the level 5. Kind of put a damper on his plans here, as Blue do be doing. So he's just thinking here, thinking out his plays. I did speed up this clip. I learned from last week some of the downtime while players think could be a little grueling in real time for people viewing. So the Ex-Ante player is evolving just to the level 6, passing to 1. The blue player will go to 3 from the Sojo. And then here it's very likely, I think, that the blue player just swings out. He goes to the Beowulf just for a safe play. Yep, bouncing the Mechanori and freezing the Zort defeat. Hits a Chikurimon, so he's going to de-Digivolve. For what it's worth, the Tommy is suspended now, because the Tamer will remain in the state it was when it was a Digimon. Or rather, Digimon stay in the same state when they're unsuspended. Evolves over the Sojo and swings for game, so it doesn't really matter. That's probably why he didn't bother putting it suspended. And then move on to game 2, advantage blue player. So they're shuffling up for game 2. Like I said, my locals has some pretty strong players, pretty competitive players. The player on the left is a diehard Black fan. He's been playing Black pretty much his whole Digimon career. So he's now on Antibody, which is the best way to play Black at the moment, and it will continue to get better with 3 back-to-back sets of support, basically, from now until BT09. So they're shuffling, cutting. I imagine the blue player will start the game off, because the Antibody player lost. At locals, we're no longer doing mulligans. We always try to mirror what the next premier event will be, and since the next event of regionals is so far looking like no mulligans, that is what we are mirroring. That being said, if anything changes, we usually change with it. We always put it up to like a player vote, and usually players want to go with what the next premier event is going to be to get some real practice in. For game 2, Sunriza and the boost on the side for Antibody. And the blue player has established Davis, starter deck Matt, and a Watermelon. Excuse me, guys, sorry. Had a little sneeze there. So blue player has a pretty established board here on the right. He has the memory blocker with the memory tamer and a small boost from that Matt. So Player on the left is going to try and establish his line as quickly as possible, I think. I think that's usually X-Antibody's like biggest priority, is getting to that level 6 ASAP and trying to reap the benefits from your full stack of inheritables. So he does get to the level 6, has the boost on field. He's in a pretty decent spot. It just depends how much the blue player here gives him to answer or to like run away with. He does go for some chip damage with the Madoki, and then plays the Boko to start searching. Gets another starter mat and a Kumamon off the Bokomon, and passes turn with the starter mat to 2. We're going to push up that Dorogoromon. The X-Antibody player is... He doesn't have the security +1 yet, but he does have like the rookie effects, which are pretty strong. He can add the security +1, pop the Boko, or he could add the draw a card, gain a memory again. Still pop. Either way, he's popping the Boko. So he does add that sec +1, draw a card, pop Boko, gain a memory. You know, all the fun stuff that they get to do. Three checks. The third check is from the Son of Rizamon, of course, because he is a big boy. The Son of Rizamon promos do help this deck a lot. I never felt like they were super necessary, which is why I don't get the price tag. He does go into the defeat, which is crazy good for him. Killing the Memory Tamer, has that big stack on board, and it's just going to be a... Honestly, right here, blue player doesn't have a choice but to race. I don't know if he runs the Susanomon or can even get into the Susanomon from this board to state. So he plays the Tommy. The defeat will go down to 2 sources. Still enough to attack. Can't be like blocked by any source denial, freeze shenanigans. And I think that Zord Defeat's just going to probably swing out until it dies or until game is over, with a supporting cast of other black Digimon, of course. So here, back to some thinking. He does swing with the defeat, hits a clam. I'm just wondering how to spend the 3 memory for this turn. That's the benefit of these big stack decks. You do end up with pretty large hands as you're devoting all of your resources to 1 stack. Of course, when you Digivolve, you do draw a card, so usually you don't dip in hand size too much. He does play the Kota, Memory Tamer. And then blue player just evolves a rookie back. Is at 1 because the defeat did take out the Davis. He does swing with the Kumamon just to trade for a security. Goes into a Kuma to strip a source. Goes to 3 with the Memory Tamer. Unsuspends the X-Antibody player here now in a pretty commanding position. Although if he does, yep, there it is. So he swings and then swings again for game with the rookie. So just board state got out of hand for the blue player, and X-Antibody does have a tendency to run away with games once it gets ahead. So you got to try and keep them from doing that. So now we're shuffling, going to game 3, 1-1. Pretty back and forth match. Pretty even match overall. I know X-Antibody is like a popular, somewhat off-meta deck, but it is becoming more popular as people are trying to practice for the next meta, for the next format. With all the support it does receive in BT8, we are going to see a lot more of that style deck. I just wonder if it is fast enough quite yet to compete with the other top decks in the format. I do know once the next wave of support comes, it is going to be probably one of the best decks in the format. I still think even in BT8 it is up there. It is definitely a very strong deck. So the Antibody player opens with the rookie, going straight into the namesake champion. So he's starting off with a pretty strong stack there. Blue player evolves a rookie and just plays Sojo. Back to the Antibody player, he does have the Waru to keep his turn, which is huge if he goes into the Doraga. There it is, and he has the full stack. Very strong. Blue player goes for some chip damage, does trade with the security, and then passes with another Sora Joe. Sora Joe, very strong, pretty good to initiate early, but it might... I mean, the choke plays great, but here the Doragora can just promote up and probably take two security on this check if he has the piece in hand to do so. He just has the one that'll let him draw a card and he'll gain some memory. I think here if he plays a memory tamer, he puts himself in a really strong situation. Yep, there it is. That's probably the most oppressive play he can make to help forward his game state. Now the blue player is just dropping more rookies. The Tommy will strip 3 sources. Don't know if the stripping will be enough. He does have the Sunrisa rookie. If he has a Zort defeat in hand even, he could just swing here with the Doroga, add a strong inheritable, and then drop the defeat to kill the Tommy, most likely. So let's see if my prediction comes true. So we have the 2 checks. And then what is the follow-up play going to be? It does look exactly to be Zort defeat, popping the Tommy. Man, this Antibody player is on fire. These are some strong plays, keeping him in a commanding lead for this game 3 after losing the game 1 in this set. So, here the Darugumon evolution to pass turn. Hammer Spark into Howling, and then Howling again because he needs to freeze that check to try and survive. Although the Zord defeat, I don't believe, had the multiple checks, and the stack in the back was not showing it yet, but this is just to help set up blue as well to try and set up some stuns for the following turn, some memory gain. Although if black player has a Chumon, which I think he just flashed in his hand to the camera, that could be a problem as well. The question here is, does he raise up and do a chip damage and give the blue player anything to react to while trying to maintain a lead, or does he just drop the Chumon to pass? So he is going to go for the chip damage. Pretty good. I did not see what he hit, but he did survive, so I'm going to assume it was a Stravimon. And then he does go into the Grumble. He's just trying to be very aggressive, put him at 0 so that any rookie in raising, so even if blue answers this entire board, the next rookie in raising will take game if he can get there before blue player can set up enough tamers and rookies to go for it. He does have the Korikaku, will not be freezing because it's not over Tommy. Into the Beowulf, evolves to the Clam. He'll probably swing, bouncing the Chumon, I would imagine. So he's swinging at the Grumble, bouncing the Doramon, okay, the level 4. Now we have some more thinking. It is still a pretty precarious situation. Looks like he's just conceding. I think also He might have been able to stall for a turn, but he was just so far behind on momentum, it's hard to say. Anyway, now with the video over, I cut it a little early, so it's just me talking over a black screen, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. We're getting really close to that 1K, and it would be absolutely astounding if we ended up hitting that. Let me know what you like and dislike about these commentary videos. I will try to put one up every time I go to locals, record just a top match or a finals match. I didn't record the finals match because our finals usually does split the prizing in top 2 when the cut happens. So I just wanted to make sure I was able to record something for you guys. Without further ado, do all those YouTube things, leave a comment, join the Discord, all that stuff, guys. Love you guys. Bye.